Yo, what is good, YouTube? First and foremost, I did want to say happiest of holidays from us here at Locust&WildHoney. I thought it could be a cool idea to kind of do you guys a solid by putting together a general list of things that you could potentially send over to, whether it's your friends, your family, or your significant other, to kind of help with the Christmas shopping. So technically, I guess you could say that this video is every bit as much for them as it is for you. I did set this list up in 3 different categories. First, I have everything under $100. Then I have a section for $100 to $300. And then I have a high roller section, which is $300 to $500. Now, bear in mind, there is nothing attached to monetary value that tells you that you're more important. Sincerely, it's not about the gift that you get, but more so, it's all about the heart behind it and who's giving the gift. And ultimately, when it's all said and done, whether it's through this list or something else that's not on this list, always receive with a heart of gratitude, because truth be told, being a less than perfect gift giver is not even a bad thing. However, one of the worst things ever is being a horrible gift receiver. I feel like that's one of the most distasteful things you could possibly be. So don't be that guy this holiday season. And with all that being said, let's jump into my first recommendation. And first up on my list is socks. Now, these can range anywhere from like $6 all the way to like $20, $25. For me personally, I'm very inclined to no-show socks and crew socks, specifically Nike Dry Fit crew socks. I love white, I love the black ones, and just a little, I guess, somewhat of a hack. I would suggest buying the next size down that they would normally wear to get the best fitting sock to complement sneakers. And if you guys are watching this and you follow the channel regularly, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You don't want your socks too high. You don't want to roll them down and have them bunch up. And if you're looking for no-show socks, I personally really love the brand Invisa Socks. You cannot go wrong with making these a gift as well, just because these socks just tend to get lost. No matter how many that person has or can potentially buy, they always get lost. So I can say definitively that this is always a necessity in every man's wardrobe. Next up on my list, I have a Fear of God Essentials t-shirt. I'm thinking the rubberized logo one up front. These are relatively easy to find, and the price range on them is retail being $40, and you can actually still find them at specific Nordstrom stores. So I would go ahead and call your local Nordstrom store and see if they have them in stock. But with that to say, you can also check Grailed. They're not going for too much above retail. Moving on here, Air Force Ones. All white Air Force Ones will always have a place in my wardrobe. I know a lot of people will say the same thing. Air Force Ones are just so dang versatile. Honestly, I have a pretty solid size sneaker collection, but if push came to shove and I only had one shoe, I would be hard pressed to overlook the all white Air Force One. Next up on my list is to go ahead and check out Minimal.la. They have a ton of really sick styles. What I love about Minimal is that they are very high quality without sacrificing that good value. Their prices are very fair. I think the average pair of denim is right around $64, well below that $100 threshold. And there's something for just about everybody, regardless of how you dress or what your style is, whether you're more into the trendy vintage stuff or if you're into more Hypebeast attire or designer. There's definitely a ton of alternatives on that website, and I would definitely suggest checking it out. Now, forewarning, I am sponsored by them. They're a brand that I mess with very heavily. In fact, I have a discount code, Paul10. You're more than welcome to use it if you do find something on the site. But more than anything, the main reason that I do mess with Minimal so heavy is because they offer really awesome alternatives to expensive things, the things that you see on celebrities on the daily. And yeah, while there might be a little bit of bias, and I don't blame you for thinking that, I will definitively say, and I unapologetically say that minimal stands to be one of the best values in streetwear today, and I'm not ashamed to say that. So definitely check out the Minimal website. Use my code Paul10 if you want to save a little money. But the list does continue. Underneath that $100 threshold are vintage tees. Now, if your significant person in your life follows my channel, then there is a very decent chance that they like vintage t-shirts. A few different places that I love to shop on include Grailed, eBay, Depop, Instagram sellers. I feel like those are the best ways to not have to leave the comfort of your own home to get vintage. I will go ahead and share with you a few vintage sellers that I personally really trust, so feel free to peruse their inventory. These are good guys, these are vetted guys. Of course, I do suggest going PayPal invoice all the way. I know that they won't mind that as well either. So next up, we are in our second tier of $100 to $300. Bear in mind, this is a lot of money, and I personally wouldn't expect anybody in my life to spend this amount of money, so never feel pressured to spend more than you see fit. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's not so much about the gift as much as it is about the gift giver and the heart behind the gift. I would say within that $100 to $300 threshold, I only have a few things written down here. I would say look for a cool hoodie. Hoodies are always essential. For me personally, I wear hoodies like at least 3 times a week. And a few hoodies that I personally would suggest is I'd go first off the Nike Center Swoosh hoodies. It's a vintage style hoodie. You can find these on Instagram through those vintage sellers like I mentioned, or you can find them on eBay. The second type of hoodie I would look for is just your everyday Travis merch. Honestly, like if you don't want to put too much effort into looking for a hoodie, I feel like anybody can appreciate Travis merchandise. Another kind of hoodie that's really easy to track down right now are the Fear of God Essentials hoodies. Those are really great hoodies. Again, very recognizable. I might go as far as to say that these are the best quality hoodies that you can get that have that brand name for the dollar, if that makes sense. I would say that all of these hoodies range right around I would say 150, most likely less, but I would go as high as 150. Next up is actually a suggestion for a gift that I can say without a doubt by personal testimonial that these are really great to get. And I am talking about fragrances. Every year, my girlfriend gets me a fragrance that I generally, more often than not, always fall in love with. Now, while I would highly suggest you head into the store and smell these fragrances for yourself, I totally understand that given the time that we're in right now, that might just not be feasible, and that's totally understandable. So I did go ahead and put together a few suggestions. These are fragrances that I personally own and that appease, I would say, at least 90% of the general public. And I would suggest Dior Sauvage EDP, not to be mistaken with Eau de Toilette. I do suggest the Eau de Parfum just because it is a bit more concentrated and it lasts a little bit longer, at least from what I've found. Next up, I do suggest Bleu de Chanel, again, EDP. Next up, I would suggest Margiela Replica by The Fireplace. This is also just an amazing smelling scent. Next up on the list in this tier, I suggest getting AirPods. Now, whether or not they know that they want them, they want them. Now, again, living by personal testimony, my girlfriend actually was totally fine with her wired earbuds, and rightly so. I mean, they do the trick, but one day I surprised her. I was at Costco and they're having a sale on AirPods, and I surprised her and got her a set of AirPods. Sure enough, she tells me time and time again that this is one of her favorite things. It's really impacted just her workflow and her ability to like work out and all that good stuff. And last up on my list, if your person is into design at all, if they're into like, you know, just making the room look cool or their office look cool, I would suggest what's right over here. These are called Nano Leaves, or the Nano Leaf. You can buy them at Best Buy. I think they're priced for a kit. It's like 120 or 150 bucks. And they're LED lights, and you can change them, adjust them. There's an app. and they have different themes. You can customize your own like themes and stuff like that. You can make it synchronized to music. Just a really, really cool way to kind of amplify your room, give it some more energy, some more life, and a little bit more character. For the $300 to $500 price point, I didn't list too much, just because I think this is the point where like this is like obscene gifting, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you got it like that, by all means, but I just know in light of where we're at today, here and now, for a lot of people it just might not make sense to spend this kind of money. I know for me personally, this is a lot of money. So yeah, this list isn't too inclusive. First up is a fragrance, and this is a fragrance that's really popular, and there's just 0% chance that they're not gonna love it. It's called Creed Aventis. Now it is $325, and if that price point isn't shocking enough to you, it's only for 1.7 ounces. 325 for 1.7 ounces, but in their defense, this is a fragrance that you only need legitimately one spray of, and you're chilling. Like, you're literally gonna be the belle of the ball. You're gonna smell glorious. I don't know, I guess the only negative thing would be that there is a bit of a stigma. If you're in LA, only if you're in LA, there's a bit of a stigma that's tied to this fragrance, and I'll leave it at that. I'll let the commenters let you know. Next up is a pair of Dunks. I wanted only one sneaker on here, and I wanted to use a sneaker that I know everybody's gonna love. I feel like this covers all bases. I feel like anybody and everybody loves and respects the Dunk. And the last thing on my list is actually the #1 gift that I personally love to receive, and hopefully Gabby is watching this right now. And it's a trip. There's nothing better than quality time, at least for me personally. I sincerely enjoy, and you can't put a price tag on a little staycation or a little trip, just you and that special person. And yeah, I would say if all else fails and you have that extra money to spend, rent a car and take a little road trip somewhere. Of course, be safe. Obviously, we're in trying times right now, but yeah, spend some quality time. Do something new. Do something random. Throw a dart at a piece of paper that has the United States on it and go there. I know that this is a channel that's predominantly based on streetwear and clothing, but life is meant to be lived. And of course, this is a very expensive thing. This is not for everybody, but this is just a list of suggestions from me to you, hoping that this will serve you in some way, shape, or form. Anyways, that's gonna do it for today's video. I know, guys, this has not been the easiest year, and my prayer first and foremost is that you guys would just feel the presence of God in this time. Let us always be reminded that the reason for the season is to celebrate the gift of Jesus to earth, and that the Lamb has come to be that atonement that we could never repay for ourselves. So more than gifts, more than anything else, just know that God loves you. And quite honestly, if the message of Jesus is the only thing that I take away from this Christmas, then I would say this was a great Christmas. And I hope that you enjoy your time with your loved ones and you have an amazing Christmas, and know that I appreciate you all. The happiest of holidays to my amazing community. And as I end every video here, I'm gonna say peace and be blessed.